And let me uncover my face. Aha, there we go. Howdy, friends. Happy Friday or happy Saturday, wherever you happen to be in the world. So if you all be joining me today, I'm here. We're ready. We're going to turn this music down because it's a little loud on my end as well. I'll make sure you can hear me over it. There we go. That's a lot better. Sweet. Excited for y'all to be here. Hello. Thank y'all for joining me. Like I already mentioned, excited to get started today with one of our brand new mini events. Hello. Awesome. So first off, don't forget to check in at the handy dandy little link right here. You can also find it in the chat. I'm going to be up on the screen for about a minute or two. Wait for people to hop in and then get settled into our gorgeous slide deck. So fun. So like I mentioned in the Discord, if you're coming in from, Twitch subscriptions, you might have not heard this, already posted the check-in link for you, and you can read more details there too. But throughout this mini event, you will have a chance to deploy your very own smart contract. And I think that's going to be a really fun way to learn a little bit more about Web3, learn a little bit more about Soroban, and generally get a good exposure into smart contracts. I've done this quest myself, and it's been really, really fun. And so I'm excited for y'all to also get a chance to learn something and do some new stuff. And I think it'll be really, really fun. So I think we're ready to get started. I think we're ready to rumble. So let's go ahead and do a little, little intro into who I am, what I'm doing, why I'm here. So hello, I'm Kari. That's my little MLH avatar. She's very adorable. I'm a coach here at MLH. I've been at MLH for a little under a year now. It's been a very fun adventure, and now you should hear burnouts. Fun fact about me is that I'm currently on break from school. So my dad and I resurrected my Wii, which I've had since 2006. And I've been spending a lot of my break playing the Wii Sports and the Wii Sports Resort games. And that has been honestly really, really fun and quite hectic. Oh, and also socials for MLH are located right there if you want to go ahead and give us a follow. We'd love to see you join us. All right, let's go ahead and do a little poll. So just go ahead and type in the chat. I'd like to know if you've ever used blockchain before. Maybe you've owned crypto, made a dApp, created an NFT, done something fun, deployed a smart contract. So go ahead and just type in the chat what you've done with blockchain in the past. I'll give my own example first. I owned a little bit of crypto, but not really, through like a third-party stock trading website, which technically you don't own the crypto. It's a weird thing. And then for a class project this semester, actually, I was in a economics class where I got to own crypto and actually have to create a wallet and go through all of the fun stuff for the first time. Ooh, nice. We've got own an NFT, own crypto. Nice. It's very fun. Generally, I studied a little bit about, all these fun technologies from the economic side of things. They're very cool. They have a lot of approaches or a lot of different ways of approaching common solutions that are not really as commonplace, or I would say good solutions for approaching common problems that we aren't really seeing today. Like, for example, sending money to and from friends, something like Venmo, which can really not feel super secure. So, all right. Well, if you end up realizing, oh my goodness, I've also made a dApp, I've created an NFT, you should go ahead and post that in the chat because I'd love to hear about it. And we're also going to take this time to change the banner into questions. Nice. Owned crypto directly and indirectly. Yeah, exactly. So if you've ever had crypto on a stock trading website, something like Robinhood, maybe you've owned crypto through your investment fund, that is also a good a way of owning crypto, but not really owning crypto. It's that little line. Ooh, my wallet is forever gone on a long, hard drive, though. That is very fair. Generally, it's very hard to. Sometimes if you lose like your private key, that's it. You're done. So we'll talk a little bit about that actually. So it's fun and how to keep your key safe and secure. All right. Thanks y'all for sharing. All right. Now I would love to hear in the chat here, who has written a smart contract before, if anyone. And if you haven't, just go ahead and say, I have never written a smart contract before in my life. That's me, except for having written, the first time I wrote a smart contract was to prepare for this quest. So that's my first contract, and I did it. So, oh, there we go. Written a super basic smart contract. Very nice. Never. Nope. Never. I've never written in my life. Never. I've heard of Ethereum. Nice. That's one of the blockchains in a cryptocurrency. No idea what a smart contract is. Well, we'll find out. That's what we're for. Never. Never. Nice. Okay, we've got very, very good engagement. I love it. So most of us have never written a smart contract. Some of us have never heard of a smart contract before. And we've got just a person or two who wrote a super basic smart contract. So generally, we can lead right into this section. So what is a smart contract? Effectively, it's a program that runs in the blockchain, right? So there are different types of blockchains. You might be familiar with some of them. You mentioned Ethereum. That's a blockchain. Bitcoin is a blockchain. Today we'll be using a blockchain called Stellar to actually write our smart contract on. So the reason why we're using Stellar is because it's generally faster, cheaper, and far more energy efficient than most blockchain-based systems. It's fun fact that I learned about in my econ class recently is that the it costs more money to mine Bitcoin, or costs more energy to mine Bitcoin than the entire energy used by the country of Ireland. So to put that into perspective, it's a lot of energy generally to mine Bitcoin. And so we're looking for a blockchain that's, a little bit better for the environment, generally more efficient, and also faster and cheaper and easier to get started. So we'll be using Soroban, which is on the Stellar blockchain. It's a platform on the blockchain. And Soroban uses Rust. Rust is a programming language that's effectively built for efficiency. It's compiled. It was my first time using Rust to, kind of learn a little bit more about Soroban and Stellar. And fun fact is my roommate really, really loves Rust. So yeah. Ooh. I wrote some Solidity tutorial smart contracts. Nice. On Ethereum. Ethereum is a little bit more energy efficient than blockchain, but it's still not great. Does that mean Soroban itself is also a smart contract? You know what? That's a great question. I feel like it is probably... It's kind of how, Visual Studio Code is an application that you also use to write applications. IDs are also apps, if that makes sense. So my initial prediction is yes. So we'll be using a platform to write, I guess we'll be using a platform to write a smart contract. It'll be fun. So there we go. Oh, I just mean you can use an application, you can use VS Code or Notepad or IntelliJ or anything to write a Java program. It's a medium for writing your code. Ooh, we got a helpful question. Do I need to install any compiler? No, everything will be done in your handy dandy little browser, which is lovely. All right, there we go. Let's see here. Why do we use smart contracts? They are verifiable, fast, direct, and on the chain. So what does that actually mean? Verifiable means that you can see what the smart contracts do and are guaranteed that the terms won't change. So let's say, for example, you and your friend, you make a bet, right? That let's say you're going to like soccer game and you're deciding, okay, I think team A is going to win. Your like friend says, no, I think team B is going to win, right? And so if you write down on a piece of paper, it's like, if team A wins, I want $10 from my friend, right? And so you have this piece of paper, you both sign it, right? And then say your friend is like in the middle of the game, he realizes his team's losing, he crosses out the 0, erases it, makes it look like he just needs to pay you $1, right? So the whole purpose of the blockchain is that you could guarantee effectively that like paper cannot be erased. It's there. So that's pretty helpful. Whereas if you sign a piece of paper, there's nothing stopping your friend from saying, oh, actually, if my team won, you have to pay me. Like if my team lost, you have to pay me $10 because I've decided that. Legally, of course, like this, like signatures and stuff is stopping you, but also it helps because you don't have to then deal with point number 3. You don't need a third party like bankers or escrow companies to verify specific terms and take action. So that can be really helpful. Like, for example, let's say you and your friend are going for a little bit more than $10. You don't have to involve, some form of third party to make sure that agreement is valid. And then it's also fast. It can be executed in your real time, meaning you don't need a human to check their email or a bank to transfer funds. So, for example, I feel like in the current modern age, if me and my friend were at the sporting game and we're like, hey, oh no, I won $10, I'd either give him $10 in cash, which means I'd have to, go to an ATM, withdraw the $10 in cash from a bank account, then have to update my bank account balance, and I have to carry the cash around until the sporting game, not spend it on anything, and then give it to my friend. Or I'd have to use a third-party transfer tool, something like Venmo, PayPal, Zelle, etc., to actually send the money over to them. And that connects to my bank account, takes time to transfer, and then also it would take time for them to transfer that money out as well. And then it's also on the chain. So what that means is if you're already on the blockchain, it's easy to move things on that chain, even across different areas. So it's kind of like, suddenly we've got a third friend coming in. We can totally shift stuff around, but we made a bet that if it's, maybe some of prices, right? Or generally we made a bet, if the team ties, then I get $10 from each of you. If the team wins, then that person gets $10 from both of us. And the team loses, the third person gets $10 from both of us. And so we can shift that money around relatively quickly across borders. So there we go. Verifiable, fast, direct, and on the chain. We've got another fun little example here. Imagine being able to write a smart contract with your roommates that automatically splits rent each month and pays your landlord, right? So it's verifiable because your roommates could see what they were agreeing to easily, right? So say, we initially agreed that, my roommate's going to pay $100 more because they're getting the bigger bedroom and they have more light. And also they're closer to the bathroom. So let's say that, that's specific in the contract and our roommate says, no, actually we agreed that we'd be paying half because we, are each taking one bedroom. Or for example, let's say someone else moves in and you want to split the rent 3 ways, but they're arguing that because they share a room, we should split the rent in half. They should take one half, you should take the other half, and they should split their half ways. Typical roommate drama. And problems, which you can easily fix. The other benefit of that is that it's fast. You can, execute the smart contract immediately when the rent is due. So you don't have to worry about, oh my goodness, I have to get all the money from my friend and they have to transfer me. And then I have to do it to the landlord and have to send it to them, or I have to take out withdraw cash and then give it to them. But this time also, we want to alternate who pays because we want to put it on our credit card so we get credit card points. So my roommate is going to do it next month, and then it gets more confusing. And then it's direct because it automatically works without you needing to involve your bank, and it sets up a shared account so you and your roommate can drop, the specific amount of crypto into that wallet, and then that can send it off directly to your landlord, and you don't have to worry about your bank at all throughout that process. And then it's on chain, which leads us great into our next question. What does it mean on chain? because it's on chain, it has access to tokenized financial infrastructure easily. So even as a foreign exchange student, it's easy to pay. So long story short, it means that it's, it's centralized currency. So say one of you wants to pay in euros or in dollars, one of you wants to pay in yen or in Australian dollars, it stays on the blockchain forever. We've got another great question. How would it not involve the bank? Wouldn't we have to enable access to funds? So the difference is kind of how you withdraw money from a bank right now. If you withdraw cash, that $100 is already yours. The bank has no control over it. As opposed to like if you use a credit card and you spend $100, the bank has access. Whenever you set up a credit card for the first time, you have to say, oh, hey, here is where you charge my card, like my bank account, if I don't pay you back on time, if I am terrible. So you have to set that up. And then, and so you don't involve the bank because the only time you have to put in, like, the only time you have to really talk to any financial entity is when you put in the funds. And that doesn't even necessarily have to be your bank. Like, you could be transferring crypto from one place to the next. So that is one of the examples. And then, yeah, decentralized. So there we go. We've got a great question. What are benefits of using Soroban instead of any other blockchain like Ethereum? So I think generally from my initial experiences with Soroban, and the general benefit of smaller blockchains is that, there is definitely less sort of noise to get through, especially if it's something like Bitcoin and you want to get mining rewards and things like that. Having less people is helpful, and especially if you have like a proof of stake blockchain, less people means you need to put in less money to gain more power, which is generally helpful when you're actually controlling the nitty-gritty of the blockchain. Outside of that, I think it's particularly helpful to have access to a good blockchain that is, really beginner friendly, that provides you lots of funds for testnet, that is really inexpensive, especially when you're trying to learn Web3. Like, it can be a huge barrier to entry, having to spend money in order to, figure out how to learn things. And one of the things that Soroban does really, really well is provide us with lots of testnet funds and different fun ways to spend money. Or not spend money, and different fun ways to learn about Web3 without spending lots of money. So I think that's a big benefit of that. That, and also they have really fantastic support. So the Stellar blockchain is generally very helpful in that regard. Great question. Wouldn't that make the security week having less members? It's a little bit complicated like that with proof of stake and less members. It's not necessarily that, like, how do I explain this in a way that kind of makes sense? So in a proof of stake blockchain, right? What matters is each member has some form of power that's determined by the amount of things, like amount of crypto they have on the blockchain. And then also the number of members that have decided to bid in to hold some power. So generally speaking, even if you have a smaller blockchain, unless a person holds a very large majority as a bad actor, they still cannot necessarily do that much harm, solely because it does require 2/3 majority for anything insecure to happen. So there we go. We've got a fun question. Built by Stellar, it has a very strong footprint in the Web3 payment space. It also uses WebAssembly runtime, which is much more accessible than Ethereum virtual machine. There you go. So that, I think, is another great question, a great answer to that. So accessibility, and I'm just going to leave that on there. So there we go. We'll take a minute for people to put some of their thoughts in the chat for some other uses of smart contracts that they can think of. So anything like I mentioned, that trading money with friends for games, and then generally as well as that roommate rent agreement. There we go. Ooh. Building on Ethereum also requires knowledge of a proprietary language, whereas Soroban uses Rust, a more general purpose language. That's very true. One of my friends used Rust entirely for nothing Web3 related this semester. I think she was in what was it called? Functional programming class or parallel? I don't remember. But she really enjoyed Rust and has found it to be really useful. And as a matter of fact, one of her job opportunities that she applied for specifically was looking for a Rust engineer. So it has a lot more applications outside of Web3. Oh, yeah. Can we get any example projects already built using Soroban and Stellar? We'll be going right into some through our fun little quest. So together, we'll write a smart contract with Blossom, Bernice, Braden Block, and Roscoe, our fun little adventurers. So let's go ahead and get started here for our follow along part of the quest. So you can go ahead and go to hackp.ac/AQ or SQ for Soroban Quest. And this is our little quest. I'm also going to paste it in the chat for those of you who are looking to do it. And I'm going to follow along on my other screen here. We're going to go ahead and get this set up. Ta-da, ta-da. Nice. Ooh, we got a fun question. But isn't Rust a more complex language in comparison to JavaScript and Solidity, which is used for Ethereum? So, in my personal opinion, I did not find Rust to be particularly more complicated than, as someone that does not have a JavaScript background pretty much at all, I find JavaScript to be one of the most confusing languages out there just because it functions so differently from the things that I'm used to. I come from a mobile development background, as well as learned C, C++, Java in my programming classes in college. So I honestly found that something like JS is to me a little bit tougher. So I found out of all of the languages that I know personally, I found Rust to be the most similar, in terms of syntax and in terms of style to Java. Obviously it functions a little bit differently here and there, but that is kind of what I found. When you look at, and we'll take a look, and you'll be able to see through the quest some code examples, then you can see the contract, and you can kind of see what I'm talking about. It feels a little bit more like a Java or C++ than a JavaScript, in my opinion. And also, no programming language is inherently easier or harder than another, at least when we're talking on this level. They all just have their own benefits and drawbacks. And Rust is particularly helpful because it also has multiple applications. So there we go. So Rust can replace Node.js. Honestly, who knows? Everything can replace everything at this point. You never know what is going to be the next big thing. So to get started, you can click on SQ, click open in Gitpod, and then log in and create a Gitpod account. Highly recommend continuing with GitHub or GitLab or Bitbucket, whichever one you have. And so generally I'm going to stay on the screen for another 30 seconds, but if you need me to go back at any point, just go ahead and let me know. You'll be taken to this fun little screen that has the quests. It says Soroban, and then it goes through about 6 different quests. We're going to be working through the first one together. If you end up enjoying it, you can go ahead and continue through the rest of the fun quests. So you need to go ahead and click open in Gitpod on the quest. And then it's going to give you an option to create a new workspace. You want to leave everything as is. Don't need to change any of these settings. And then once you have your quest up, I'll go ahead and show y'all. The first thing that I always suggest is going to this cargo.toml file. So it's the very bottom file. I'm going to just put this in the chat, cargo.toml. And we'll just be working through the first quest. So I go ahead and comment out or remove the other quests underneath members. So cargo.toml members. And then I go ahead and set it to just be our first quest here. And this is just so we compile the first quest instead of having to worry about the other ones. There we go. So I recommend just going ahead and doing that before we get started. And then we could go ahead and open up a terminal. So let me do that. New terminal. I'm working through the quest along y'all. And so we've got some fun little spaces here. And then let's try and do SQ user in our sandbox here. So you'll go ahead and have the chance to see. So you'll authenticate with your Discord account for the quest. And then it'll say successfully authenticated and then your Discord username. That generally helps. And then you should be able to connect your Stellar wallet, complete your KYC flow, and upload your tax documents to make sure you have access to your NFT rewards. And if you don't have the Stellar Quest account, you can just go ahead and click yes on the bottom here in your terminal, and that is going to open Stellar Quest where you can sign in with your Discord account and then go into your settings and generally set things up. So I'll post this link here as well for those of y'all who may want to log in and go through that workflow. So you don't have to do this now. You can work through the rest of the quest without having done this. It just helps if you want to get the process started. So go ahead and paste this link here. And then chat, if I could just get like a little, I'm good, I'm done with this part, or hey, I'm a little confused, can I get some help? If I don't hear, I hope to hear something from you, but if I don't hear, any questions, comments, or concerns within the next 2 minutes, we're going to move on to the next screen. Sounds good? Sounds good. Time for a water break, shall we? If I can open this. There we go. All right, chat, how are we doing? Thumbs up, thumbs side, thumbs down. Can we go back a slide, please? Absolutely. So if you just need the link, then I can go ahead and paste that for you again. So it's p.ac/ASQ. Now you just want to go to the Hello World quest and authenticate with Gitpod. Long compilation, no worries. We'll give it a second. In the meantime, we've got a fun question. What is cargo.toml for? So this is a file that is generated that lets you figure out kind of what specific quests are going to be deploying. It works through the dependencies, the packages, and there's different files as well. And they generate, if you go within the quests, eventually you'll see that they generate different files for different aspects of the quest. So hopefully that answers your question a little bit. If it doesn't, just let me know. Can I watch a recap of this? Absolutely. So we will have this recording up on Twitch right after the stream ends. You can also, go back and watch a couple minutes behind if that helps. Or you can also watch a recap of this on YouTube, probably right after we end. So that should help. We'll also run, versions of this at various other events. I was actually trying to follow along with what you've been saying, but have you also been screen sharing what you're doing on your end? Just confirming. So because I can only show either the slides or my screen, I've been trying to mainly show the slides because they tend to walk through everything that we're doing, and it's kind of easier to go back and forth. Also to, protect some of my private keys and things like that, I am not sharing my screen. But if you have any issues, I do have the quest open right next to me. It's right here. So I can go ahead and walk you through any specific issues. All right. The SQ login part is not necessary, right? So you should receive a little thing that says successfully authenticated with your Discord username. So it should look something like this: successfully authenticated and then Discord username, something like that. If you don't see that, it should actually tell you to run SQ login. I had to run SQ login the first time I set up Stellar and Soroban and the quest, but besides that, I did not have to run. SQ login. Now I can just run SQ user. So I just make sure that you are seeing, kind of, you can see it on the slides. You're seeing this green checkbox. So it shows you SQ user. Please run the login command first, and then SQ login. Do you agree to abide by official rules? Successfully authenticated. So you only run SQ login once, but you should run SQ user every single time you start a new quest. Setting up my Stellar account. Awesome. Sweet. All right. Let's go through a little bit of the quest. So each quest has a directory with a README. It explains the entire quest. We're working on the first quest. If it's not already open in the quest folder, which it should be, kind of, you can see on the screenshot there, it's the VS Code folder, and then the quest folder will be going into quest number 1, Hello World. And then it's got a bunch of different files: lib.rs, test.rs, another cargo.toml file, story.md, which is a fun little chapter that you could read along, which I really enjoy, and then a README to tell you how to play through the quest. We already did parts of this, so like the authentication with Discord, and then you must retrieve the quest key pair. So in this case, you would run SQ play 1. You can just do that in the same terminal. There we go. What do you do after you log in with a Discord account? We're here right now. We're going to open the quest folder and then run SQ play 1. Do you need to complete the KYC float and upload tax docs? So in order to claim your reward from the quest, your NFT reward, you need to go ahead and, in order to claim your NFT reward, you need to complete KYC and upload tax docs. But in order to follow along with the quest, you don't need to. So it depends on kind of the order in which you want to do things. If you want to finish the quest and then do the KYC and upload tax docs, that's totally okay. And then you can get your reward at any time. So there you go. So SQ play 1 to go ahead and launch the quest. I really recommend reading the story. That's very cute. So you can go ahead and create a wallet. So this is what we'll be doing next to set up the Stellar testnet and generally go through the process. So you'll play, you go ahead and do SQ play 1, and that creates a wallet for you with public key and then a secret key. So make sure you keep your secret key safe. This is one of the ways in which you can lose access to your blockchain forever, and that is pretty sad. So keep it safe, store it somewhere safe, ensure no one gets a hold of it. Otherwise, it is really, really tough. It can't be easily changed like a password. Save both your public and secret keys, but make sure your secret key is especially safe. So you should just get those once you do SQ play 1. And then testnet is a blockchain used for testing. It's similar to a sandbox or test environment. It does not use real money or tokens, which is exactly what we want. And then funding your account, you can fund your account just clicking yes please. You pay for computing power, use your on Soroban, but we get tons of free testnet funds, so you can just go ahead and select yes please. Everyone good? How are we feeling? How are we doing? Seems to be going pretty well, which is awesome. And then we've got write a contract. Smart contracts are code written in Rust, or Soroban contracts are code written in Rust. Soroban Quest 1 has a very simple hello world contract. You can go ahead and open lib.rs, and in here you can see the hello function. So vector is a Rust data type, similar to a Python list or a JavaScript array. The hello function takes a The hello function takes a short string and returns a vector. So hello string, which means now we can go ahead and build our contract. So we can go ahead and compile our contract by moving into the right directory. So you can just do that by doing cd or to change directory quests 1-hello-world and then running Soroban contract build. So let me go ahead and do it just to make sure it works. cd quests -1 hello world and then Soroban contract build. All right, chat. We're doing a little sanity check. How are we doing? How are we feeling? Everyone doing good? Doing good? Excited for y'all to be here, like I already mentioned. I get this. I love it. I really like this class. I think it makes it really easy to understand kind of what smart contracts are. So, Williams, yeah, great, awesome. Go ahead and drink some water. Let my contract build some more. There we go. And all done there. I'm having trouble with the build, get lots of errors. Is that normal? So I would just make sure that you went ahead and commented out in the first cargo.toml. Your members should look something like this. So you should just remove all of the other quests from members to make sure you're just working on the first quest. When I ran through the quest myself, I had a bunch of errors come up from specifically quest number 5. So you can also go ahead and try that. It's sort of like Hard Hat, but more simpler. A very fair comparison, I think. I don't really know what Hard Hat is, so I can't tell you if you're right, but I think generally it is pretty simple, so that's a win. And then, yeah. All right. Should be good there. Should just say finish release in however many seconds. Mine went ahead and worked in about 60 seconds, so no rush there. How to comment in Rust, double dashes. If it lets me send the comment on Twitch, but // Okay, well, there we go. So we have a contract that has been written, then compiled. Now we need to get it onto the blockchain. So the last command compiler contract for 32-bit WebAssembly architecture. Then the compiled file is going to be at target, then wasm32 unknown, then release, then Soroban, hello world contract.wasm. And I actually go ahead and see this file right here within my file dropdown. So that's how we know we're good. And then I can just go ahead and run this fun, very long little deployment to get an address. So I copy and paste this, and I'm also going to copy it in the chat, friends, because, well, I know no one wants to try and type that out. So there it is for you once again, and you'll get a little contact address. So I'll go ahead and paste, and I just get a contact address. It's this very long string, looks something like the one on the tutorial down here. But if you need to paste this command, it's right here in the chat for you. All right, we're doing another sanity check. We're almost there, friends. We'll have some time for questions and everything. So, doing wonderful. All right, I think we're gonna go ahead and hit the last slide, but I'm gonna keep this on the next page. Invoke the contract, you can just go ahead and run this command. Replacing contract address with the address you just received. Awesome. So you can go ahead and paste this. Just replace contract address with the address you just received. Awesome. What is KYC flow? So KYC stands for Know Your Client or Know Your Customer. It's effectively a way for the blockchain to verify that you are really you. Usually that involves scanning a picture of some form of government identification, so a driver's license, a passport, just so in case something bad were to happen on or, as a result of your specific transactions, they tend to know who you are. So that is helpful. It's a way to protect you and, protect the other people you do it. Sanity check failed. Oh no. Please, how may I assist? Does KYC take 24 hours? It can take a lot less. It can take a lot longer. In my personal experience, KYC tends to take longer the weirder situations you happen to be in. Like we were doing, when we were deploying blockchains in one of my classes earlier this semester, one of my friends got approved, I think it's 60 minutes. For another person, it took about a day. Another person took about 12 hours. And that was just because there was some discrepancy in legal documents. Someone needed to also upload a passport and just general things like that. So it might take 24 hours. It might take less. It might take slightly more. My contract implementation is throwing errors when building. What is the error you're getting? Did you go ahead and go into cargo.toml here? The very first one, so not in any file. And went ahead and modified that because I find that to be the biggest issue. Make sure you modify that members class to just be the first quest. So there we go. When invoking, it's showing a lot of error in the failed call is false. Let me see here. I'm going to go ahead and try and invoke it myself really quickly. Invoke ID. Hello -2 -u. Yeah, you can go ahead and as long as you see on the very bottom, and I'll actually go ahead and share it with y'all. Sent share screen. Go ahead and share it with y'all here. So you can kind of see on the bottom, failed call is false, which means if failed call was true, that means the call would actually fail. But this call is correct, and you get hello you at the end. So that should be good. Yes, the outermost cargo.toml file. Beautiful. Yes, changing that file makes the compilation work. It's because one of the quests requires you to swap stuff around before it actually compiles. And so that quest, if you don't change your members, it'll throw you a bunch of errors on quest 5 and say, oh no, I can't do it. So, all right, you have not yet completed the KYC flow and or uploaded your tax documents. That is totally okay. You don't have to upload your tax documents yet. Unless you want to do it right now. You can do it at any point after we finish this quest, and then you'll have access to your little NFT. How come it is failed for true? Because the variable is called failed call. If failed call is true, that means the call failed. If failed call is false, that means the call passes. It's kind of trippy, but there we go. All right, how are you? What is the session plan? We are building a smart contract. What is the project that we're going to build? We're completing Soroban quest. Can you tell more about the technologies used? We talked about it all earlier, and you're welcome. So there's that. We're going to go ahead and walk through what we actually did right there. Soroban contract invoke creates an interface to call smart contract functions, specify the address of the contract, passes any future input, name of the function we want to call, the name of the argument for the Rust function, and the string we're passing in the argument. It could be anything that's less than 32 characters. So you can put hello you to get the same output that I got right there, hello you. You can put hello your name, you can put hello world, you can put hello anything. And that's lovely and wonderful. And that is the quest, my friends. You just deployed a smart contract and ran it on the blockchain. Congrats, everyone. So completing a Soroban quest earns you NFTs. If you have your wallet set up, you can immediately go ahead and complete it. If you don't have your wallet set up or your KYC and tax forms yet, you can go ahead and do that now and then just come back and run SQ check 1 immediately. All right, what is next? You can go ahead and keep building on the Soroban quest, read the Soroban docs, better understand Rust, and those will be very helpful things to get started. We got a question, where can we find the slides? I think we can miss the steps. I'm not going to share the slides just because I want to make sure we have them nice and crispy for future events. But readme.md in 1-hello world it walks you through all of the next steps. So readme.md in 1-hello world does a great job of walking you through what we just did together too. Actually does a lot of a better job of explaining through a lot of stuff, and it's readme.md. Sorry, it's lowercase, but yeah. So I think that'll be super helpful, and then you can finish the quests, find the instructions for that. You can do some further reading. You can check out the main section of the README to figure out what is lost. You have the prologue quest and the pioneer quest to teach some more things. And then you can, what is the life cycle development for building a contract? It's built on Stellar blockchain with Soroban, which is an application for deploying smart contracts on blockchain, pretty much. Share the reference resource links in the discussion window panel. Yeah, so I've shared a bunch of them, so you should be able to watch back the stream and see that. You can get the slides again by going to readme.md in one-hello-world. And then to get started with the quest, you want to go to hackp.ac/SQ. And that should be everything you need to get started. I think it is now time for questions. So I'll be on for another 8 or so minutes to help y'all ask any questions that you might have about blockchain, about Web3, about Soroban and Stellar, about web apps, Web3 apps, about hackathons, about anything really. So I'd love for y'all to join me for that. It was awesome to have y'all throughout this event, and it was great. So thank y'all very much for coming. Gonna, like I mentioned, stay on for a couple minutes. Leave the resources on here. hackp.ac. And I'm also going to paste them into the chat for you. Soroban Quest /hello world. So this is one of the links that we can go to. So there we go. Okay. Account doesn't exist on Ledger. You need to fund it with XLM in order to receive assets. This is what I'm seeing on my account after receiving it. You should be able to fund it with testnet funds. So I can go ahead and send you the Soroban docs to help you do that. hackp.ac/Soroban-docs. So here are the Soroban docs for that. And then anything happens for you guys when you run SQ check 1, make sure you go through all of the steps of setting up your account. So configuring your wallet, doing your KYC, and then also funding your wallet with testnet XLM. Make sure you're using test. You're not using real money. So that's very important. The whole purpose is for us to be able to have access to all of these fun resources. So here is the Rust documentation and helpful resources. Rust. We've got one here and then another one right down here. For those of y'all who are looking to learn some more Rust and generally get a better exposure to Rust itself, and then the stable and the Soroban docs are, in my opinion, really, really helpful. All right, chat. We got any more questions, any more comments, any more concerns? I'm loving it. Thank y'all very much for coming. I'm happy y'all are here. Seem to be doing great. I'm so happy we got our first smart contract deployed, everyone. We're killing it. And we've got fun music playing. I am once again going to drop the check-in link here. So y'all can go ahead and check in if you have not yet done so. Go ahead and pop that right in here. Beautiful. There we go. There we go. So for those of y'all who need to check in, just let me know. And that's about it. So thank y'all very much for coming. It was lovely for y'all to come and join us today. I loved it. We had a super engaging and super lovely chat, and I appreciate y'all very much for coming. Yes, thank you. It was lovely to hang out. But if you have any other questions, now is the time to talk to me. I'll also be on the Discord for a couple more hours today, and then for lots more time tomorrow. So you can ask me any questions you have about hackathons, about Web3, about blockchain, anything and everything in between. But yes, thank you. Thank you very much for coming, friends. I'm going to go ahead and we've got some fun questions in the chat, which I will also answer later today. But generally, yes, if you need to find me, you can find me in the Discord. I'll have my active MLHer tag on for the rest of the stream, rest of the week. Thank you. Wonderful, wonderful. All right, we'll stay on for another few minutes. Make sure we're all set. Got our announcements. We'll scroll through everything. So much fun stuff. Fun hack together stuff. Lots of different verification things. Judging. Got some tech together. Love it, love it. Thank you, thank you. Exciting. Ooh, I'm going to do a plug. You should go and join Rosendo for the GitHub Go Pilot mini event. You can join him on Zoom, which you can find the link in the Discord, which if you're not in the Discord, I think it should just be hackpi.com/Discord if I were to take a guess. Yes. Okay. So you can go ahead and find the Discord at hackp.ac/Discord. But you can go ahead and do that. And you should join Rosendo. He's starting a mini event in just 1 minute. And so on that note, I am going to pop off. If you have any questions about fellowship, I saw someone in the chat about a question about fellowship. Ask that in the Discord. There's a whole dedicated fellowship team that can help you answer over there. So on that note, thank you all very much for coming. Make sure to join Rosendo over on Zoom. The link is going to be in the Discord. You can get the Discord right here if you're not already there. And I'm very excited that y'all were able to join me. Thank you so much for coming. Have a wonderful rest of your day and see y'all.